I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about James 1. This is a book that I started to do with my D group girls, and so we went through this, and this chapter really stuck out to me, spoke to me, put a lot of things in perspective for me. So I just wanted to share a little bit with you guys. So in the second verse, it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let the steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." And that really just, I love that. God doesn't put us through trials to make us unhappy or make us miserable. He puts us through trials to make us better than we were, to grow us, to strengthen us. And I love that, and that's what I focused on a lot during my lesson with my girls. But through that, I also opened up a little bit about my story. When I was about 10 years old, I went through something pretty traumatic, and my family was affected, and it was just a mess. And at first, I was pretty upset with God. I was like, God, why would you put me through something so traumatic? And I sat there and I thought about it a little bit more. I knew that God wouldn't put me through something so bad if He wasn't going to bring something so much better into my life for it. And do I know what He's going to use me for in that, and why that's such a part of my story? No, I don't yet. But I hope to soon, and eventually. But I know that something is. I was able to come out of that situation stronger than I was before, and I use it for so many things now. And in that was when I took a huge step in my faith in trusting God through any trial. Yes, it's hard and difficult when we don't get things, and when we do go through trials. Like we have our heart set on something, but we don't get it, and we're like, oh, God's calling me, and then that door shuts. That's hard, but in that's when I learned, like, I need to trust God. He's closing this door because a better door is opening with a better opportunity, and that's something that's really important. That's one of the strongest, I think that's the strongest thing in my faith. I also really like the line when it says, "Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God promised to those who love Him." And again, when we stay steadfast towards God, and we don't falter in our faith with Him, and we just trust His plan, and we lean on Him, and we turn towards Him instead of away from Him in those trials, we get the crown of life. And that's the best thing you could get from God, really. And yeah, I love that. I also really love, in the next verse down, it says, "Let no one say that he was tempted. When he was tempted, I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, and He Himself tempts no one." And that to me just brings such a peace to me, because God can't tempt us. That's not in God's character, and that's not who He is. And so that just brought a lot of peace to me. And because I think it's easy for people to think, like, why would God tempt me like this? Why would God put this in my life? Like, no, that's not God. That's all Satan. God uses those temptations and those trials for His glory, to better us. And I love that. And so when you think that when you know you're being tempted, just know that, like, God's going to bring you out of this much better. You just need to trust in His plan and who He is, and it's not in His character to tempt you. Like, that's not Him at all. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and I hope it stuck with you as much as it stuck with me.